president on the recent fire outbreaks in the various markets. A statement signed by the Chief of Staff said, by directing a security alert at all such installations and instituting the reward package, the president is convinced that the general Ghanaian public will also be vigilant and watch out for saboteurs within their communities who may be planning to cause damage to public property. According to the Chief of Staff, the Regional Security and District Security Councils have also been directed to work with their respective market associations to put in place watchdog teams to provide adequate security for the markets. They are also to ensure the deployment of uniformed and plainclothed police and military teams to all important public installations in their jurisdictions. Now, the announcement of American assistance in investigations into recent fire outbreaks in the country has generated some reactions amongst MPs. President Mahama made the announcement yesterday when he visited the Makula No. 2 market where the latest market fire occurred.
Some of the MPs have applauded the move, which they say is long overdue.
It's becoming almost so rampant, and nobody knows whether it's an arson, which is more or less being perpetrated by somebody, or not. But whatever it is, it's become a puzzle for all of us. It's a problem that we need to resolve. I mean, if you look at the quantum of destruction that is going on, it's not easy for people to really, commit it just like that. So if the president is saying that, yes, there's the need to really investigate and find out what is the cause of this thing, so that the huge amount that is going to be spent in trying to compensate people, in trying to rebuild the market and all these things, could have been channeled into some other development.
That collaborative effort of bringing people from outside to add up to what we have internally so they can go into the matter, I think it's a laudable one. It has to be applauded because it then sends some comfort to the people. It gives some sense of security.
There are those, however, who are questioning the motive.
The impression is being given that as soon as the fire occurred, we asked for experts. I don't think that's the likely. It may appear that we've asked for the experts and they're just coming at the time when the Makula incident has happened. There's nothing wrong with asking experts to assist you, but I think your local people must be the ones that should have the solution. The experts are going to collect information from them, analyze it, and come to some conclusion. So the decision per se is not bad, but the impression it gives us that the fire happened, then we say, oh, Americans come and assist us. I think if that is the case, then it will be wrong. Because if you look at how they reacted to the Makula one and you compare that to our reaction in the Kantamatu one, there's a difference.
The reactions to suggestions that it makes the National Service appear incompetent are varied.
Our local people, if given an opportunity and the resources, should be able to solve the problem for us. There should be a permanent solution. Design of markets, etc., etc. There are good architects in Ghana. I mean, all the buildings you see around were designed by Ghanaians. So I think we should look into that, and there should be a coordinated effort.
There much we have a lot of expertise with our fire service people and all other technical people. Sometimes, like they say, wisdom is not in one person's head. There may be, other sources that we might not have at our disposal. So if the president is saying that fine, people are ready to come in, like say from America, from all sort of other expertise to come and help us resolve the issues, I don't think it's a bad idea.
Sharing of information, you understand, it's important in the intelligence world, where you may have you may be privy to something, others may not, you understand. Others who have some expertise to be able to maybe go deeper into what maybe you may think superficially it is, but it may end up being a different thing altogether. So I think that it's a situation of sharing of information.
Meanwhile, the House has adjourned sitting till Tuesday, June 11. Some of the reports and bills to be discussed include the Investment Promotion Center Bill 2013, Plant Breeders Bill 2013, report of the Finance Committee on the request for waiver of stamp duty amounting to $150 million, and other committee reports are expected to be considered by the House.
Meanwhile, some markets in the capital are still not complying with the directive by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly for markets to open at 6 a.m. and close at 6 p.m. The directive issued by the AMA last month was to curb the outbreak of fires. But as Abigail Adumako entry found out, traders at the Malamata market, for instance, could enter and exit the market any time of the day to trade, while others slept over.
It is about 5:40 a.m. at the Kaneshi market here in Accra, and traders are patiently waiting for the gates of the market to be opened. Though the AMA's directive states that markets can start operations at 6 a.m., traders here will have to wait for another hour. They rushed in at exactly 7 a.m. when the gates were finally opened. Traders here might not be too pleased with the time restrictions, but they believe the market is secured against fires.
Joan Muni and Pennyphone, or more copying Tamadi Betchy, or more what you want my. Until no dear, and manning Johnny to me away. I'm off share, young coffee. Your coffee, we are among us upon which you are Junu. I have your clophobi baby, we are the anyway, no man. Now move share.
Contrary to what I witnessed at the Kaneshi market, which is managed by a private firm, at the Malamata market, which is under the AMA's watch, the 6 a.m. directive was blatantly ignored. Traders say the market is always opened for business.
Sageti kesiwe nukra yamuntu. So to tunia can mageti kesiwe yantum. Eda ho obi etimi eden ewrem. Ebi ho gas kesiwe kwa de be se etikura. Na yantum. Sene bi anaka bi ba. Ebitimi ano so ya na boys ne tena ho omo etigate na bi anaka bi de ne eba na o ma bibi on so eba omo mo munyim emu yigu abonten se eba wa won ne ma na wa akosesa na da ede na wo de aba begu.
The AMA started the fight against market fires by asking traders to remove all unauthorized stalls to make the markets more accessible to personnel of the fire service in the event of a fire, but the stalls are yet to be removed. The traders living in fear of a possible fire outbreak are calling for more education on firefighting.
What I say, in the episode, Bia, Sabine, or Massa Bia, a journal, you will be a Nihima Twitchiano, say about the force a way him out. Na body phone be na se be ani pa bia miensa ennan ne yakọ training for say bibi basa na say o 5 service o mo wa yi bia o mo kita I don't know so be chemi ni din no say bibi si ana say yakọ training en ntino na ya ye ho adwuma ansa na 5 service for no abedu ase.
Market leaders contend it is difficult to enforce a 6-6 directive and are asking city authorities to intervene.
Yanya bedi dwano ayekọ no enipa egu dwanu mu anum no anadwo ekosi anopa ye beba no won do so senyanye ye beton ade wo dwamu anum eti aban won mo ye won egu dwamu anum a won ware ya wo a won tim ye ni wo chibanfo ni nyina yeka se wo chibanfo wo mu a anaka nonsia etu nonsia enka beye yie kana nyumre nonsia no ka say watchman security for no on betimi apam ni padi nyina akogwa fichire no atotom ebi ni wosa.
The AMA is yet to comment on the matter. Abigail Admakwenchi for Joy News.
In other news, government is employing Parliament to treat the Right to Information Bill as priority. This was after Cabinet yesterday approved the bill, which has been pending for some time now, to be relayed in Parliament.
Journalist at the Flagstaff House, Information and Media Relations Minister Mahama Yariga said government will push for the Right to Information law as part of its commitment to transparent governance.
The President places premium on the expeditious passage of the Right to Information bill. He will give his assent to it immediately the bill is passed by Parliament. We want to urge Parliament to give priority to this piece of legislation. The Right to Information bill provides citizens the opportunity to legally be able to access official information within the domain of agencies of government.
The Right to Information Bill had to be relayed in Parliament after the previous House failed to pass it into law before it was dissolved in January this year. The minister reacted to questions about America's assistance in the investigation of recent market fires.
One of the things that you do as a country is in areas where you determine that you are lacking capacity to accept international assistance in that regard. We have investigative bodies, but at the same time, we also have partners when it comes to security issues, and sometimes you want to work with your partners. And so if it is viewed in terms of the partnership and their offer to help, given that there are undoubtedly challenges in terms of our capacity, I don't think that it's something that should be ruled out. And so let's partner with them to help address the root cause of these fires.
Other issues he commented on were efforts being made by government to block leakages in revenue mobilization agencies. The minister says some arrests have already been made and that officials linked with other areas of leakages would be identified and eventually picked up.
We'll take a break. We have more news. The Customs, Excise and Preventive Service Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority says it has recorded significant results in its efforts to clamp down on the evasion of import duties by vehicle dealers. It says a task force set up to check the smuggling of the vehicles into the country as temporary imports has between January and May this year impounded 75 of such vehicles. Some of the vehicles, it says, had fake and tampered chassis, whilst others were transit diversion vehicles.
Roads leading to the ministries were particularly busy Friday morning as the task force mounted the operation. Chief Revenue Officer Robert Mensah, briefing the media, noted the exercise had become necessary as the number of especially luxury vehicles being smuggled into the country is becoming alarming. He added the electronic tracking system, which is part of the risk management facility of the customs unit, has also aided in tracking down vehicles that divert from the original route.
Within the last 2 months, we've managed to grab some 31 vehicles, spanning across those ones that came in by transit, those who came temporary importation, and those who came normally through the ports, or even smuggled overland. That is, did not use the approved routes. But we had to bring this to attention because, should I say, the rampant nature by which the vehicles of late are coming, in particular with the luxury vehicles. Sooner or later, somebody may want to go and buy it. And in terms of the duty, the penalties, and what you yourself use in buying it initially from the seller, we think people, the public, are being defrauded, and we need to draw attention. So it's an ongoing exercise. I will continue to do so.
He warned prospective vehicle buyers to seek clearance from SEBS before buying any vehicle.
Whenever they are buying such vehicles, particularly those ones advertised at the roadsides, kindly pick documents and relate to customs. Let us advise you accordingly.
Owners of the impounded vehicles will be liable to between 100 and 300% penalty of the duty and tax evaded. Owners who also refuse to pay the penalty would have their vehicles confiscated to the state.
Works on the Circle storm drains and other major culverts in the capital is expected to begin in the next 2 weeks. The Circle storm drain has remained largely untouched for the whole of last year, causing floods in several locations. The abandoned pits dug out at the project sites are said to have also been responsible for a number of accidents.
Construction works of the Circle storm drain started in full earnest in February last year, but work stalled after nearly about 3 months, and several attempts to get officials to respond to the appalling situation has proved futile. The project site, as a result now, is an eyesore. Stagnant pools of water covered with green weeds occupy the dugouts with obvious risks to residents' health. The onset of the rains has further worsened the situation. The residents who are clearly unhappy about the situation say they have tried on several occasions to get the authorities to do something about it.
We were made aware of the construction of a storm drain here, but till date, the project has stalled, and we don't know what the authorities are up to. Are authorities waiting for a disaster to happen before acting? The storm drains was constructed because of the rains, but the projects have stalled since last year. Construction work started at a point and stopped abruptly.
But Accra Mayor Alfred Oko-Vanderpoy, after supervising the destruction of some structures believed to be on waterways and contributing to flooding, promised work on the project will start soon.
I am here to assure you that very soon the Conti project will start. And when the Conti project starts, we are going to take care of Circle. That's the number one thing that we have earmarked. The Circle construction that needs to be completed, the drains that needs to be worked on, the dredging of the Koli Lagoon from the cliff coming to Circle and then into the Odo River. Those are the first things that would be taken care of.
The mayor also reiterated government's commitment to address the perennial flooding in the capital.
We have had a week of strong rains in Accra, and given the level and the volume of rains that came down last week and some part of this week, I'm sure this area, Sakama, definitely would have been flooded. Several places in Accra would have been flooded. But today, as we stand here, you can see that the construction of the drain has been complete. They still need to work to go further. We have also identified some drains areas that are now available that hitherto we had containers sitting on them with covered sand. But today we have access to them to desil them, to really continue to prepare the grounds for any volume of water that might come down. It is our hope that as we do all this, nobody will be affected so much by the impending rains.
Meanwhile, a task force has also been set up to ensure the demolished structures are not rebuilt.
Climate change remains a threat to development, but for experts, it also offers an opportunity for innovation and poverty reduction. They are therefore asking policymakers to focus on the positive aspects of climate change and come up with rigorous strategies for its adaptation.
But without strong adaptation strategies for climate change, with its devastating effects of flooding and drought among others, development in Africa will remain retarded. The second Climate Change and Population Conference on Africa sought to share thoughts on its solutions and adaptation strategies. Experts after the 5-day meeting proposed support for relevant climate change research to inform adaptation policies.
We don't necessarily have to be chasing the global adaptation agenda. We think that with the new issues of green growth going on all over the world, taking over from the sustainable development agenda, Africa is in the best position to come up with its own strategies, and for instance to have its own regional adaptation fund or a green fund on adaptation strategy to be able to pursue this agenda that we are saying that we have the problems and we alone can produce the solutions and supply the complementary strategies to be able to combat the impacts of climate change.
The stakeholders also believe less emphasis on the negative effects of climate change in favor of its positive impact on development would be beneficial.
We are saying that there are droughts, we have excessive rainfall. What do we do with all that water that we have? Can't we store it and use it to enhance or facilitate our irrigation beyond the one that we are doing for now? What about drought? We need to develop, for instance, varieties of crops that can withstand drought. This is an innovation, so it means that climate change is bringing to us some form of innovation. We are talking about clean development mechanisms. We are asking the rest of the world or the developed countries to come to our aid, to be able to use technologies that can help mitigate emissions on this planet. But why can't they come from our own institutions and formulating business models to support some of these challenges? Why not water harvesting mechanisms, strategies, getting our industries to get jobs and to be able to come up with innovative technology to be able to respond to all the challenges that we have?
World Child Labour Day, which falls on the 12th of June, has been launched in Accra. The focus of this year's celebration is domestic child labour, which is said to be on the increase in the sub-Saharan African region. The launch is part of efforts to create awareness about the dangers children are exposed to at home.
Child labor is a global phenomenon occurring in every region across the world, with hundreds of millions of young boys and girls engaging in work that deprives them of adequate education, health, leisure, and basic freedom. The children are also often deprived of their basic rights as a result. Figures from the new ILO Global Child Report indicate the number of persons involved in child labor declined by 3% from 222 million to 215 million between 2004 and 2008, compared to a decline of about 10% from 2000 and 2004. Out of the 250 million children in labor, 150 million of these children work in hazardous conditions. According to the ILO, the trend is not encouraging, especially in Africa where most of the incidents occur. In launching the day, President of the GJA, Afemoni, urged the media to push the child rights agenda ahead of the politics.
We have the capacity and the means to determine what goes on air, what agenda we set, so that the whole nation will move in that direction. This is the power of the media. So we need to leverage this power in the positive direction to ensure that we win the fight against domestic labor. The theme speaks volumes. Ghana, take action now. No to child labor in domestic work. It means the rhetoric should be over. It's now time for action.
The representative for organized labor, Seth Abloso, also called for workplace regulations that prohibit child labor.
Stories of abuse of domestic workers are common, and children are particularly vulnerable. This calls for a firm and proactive approach by all in building worldwide movement against child labor with strict regulation of domestic employers' operations, to be in tune with legal requirements in our world of work.
A representative from the Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Protection, Catherine Edubwedi, also called for the ratification of the convention and urged the media to support government in its efforts to eliminate child labor.
The Anti-Witchcraft Campaign Coalition of Ghana, a grassroots civil society, gender and human rights advocacy alliance network of local NGOs and women associations, has issued a 3-week ultimatum to opinion leaders, the chief and elders of Nyankpala in the Tolon district of the Northern Region to reintegrate a 40-year-old woman into the society. Rahinatu Abdullah and her entire family were banished from Nyankpala on suspicion that she was a witch. The coalition is threatening legal action against the town's leaders if they fail to comply.
Rahinatu Abdullah and her entire family were banished last week by the chief of Nyankpala, Lana Yakubu Abdullah, after she was accused of being responsible for ailments affecting a young lady in the area, Osman Nafisa. Coordinator of the coalition, Kenneth Adai, told Joy News their investigations have revealed that between the period of October last year and last month, other older women were also accused and unlawfully banished from Nyankpala by the same opinion leaders and elders.
Sacking a whole family of 10 people from Nyankpala is not fair. It's inhuman, and therefore everybody, a stakeholder involved in human rights, must show interest in this. And we think that the records coming from Nyankpala indicates that the opinion leaders and the youth have been doing this over the years, which is not fair. And we must now sit up and let the rights of the individual, especially the vulnerable, be what? Respected.
There are a total of 581 alleged witches with 545 children and 6 witch camps in the northern region. Action Aid Ghana, one of the non-governmental organizations working for the sustainable reintegration of the alleged witches in the northern region, are worried about the increasing numbers of alleged witches at the various camps. Esther Boateng is the northern regional manager.
It turns that every human being has a right to stay where he or she feel comfortable to be. So if somebody from that community doesn't want the person...
The children of the suspected witch are also equally worried about the constant stigmatization they are subjected to. Not until government engages with stakeholders on the subject or invoke the laws of the country to deal with people who abuse these vulnerable women, it appears more of such incidents will continue to occur.
Coming up, we have business news.
Joy News Business is brought to you in association.
Now, the country has moved one more step towards getting a local content law after Cabinet approved the framework for the policy. The policy will, among others, guide operations in the emerging oil industry. The key areas of the policy, according to Information and Media Relations Minister Mahama Ayariga, includes giving priority to Ghanaians in the issuance of licenses and transfer of technical know-how.
Yesterday, Cabinet did approve proposals to send a legislative instrument to Parliament for passage to enforce as law the local content policy in the petroleum industry. The key highlights of the policy include that priority should be given to Ghanaians in the granting of licenses and agreements in the petroleum sector in all operations. Where foreigners want to be involved, they must partner with Ghanaians who should carry at least a 5% equity interest, and that is reviewable at the pleasure of the minister given certain circumstances. Also, there's an elaborate reporting procedure in terms of the execution of petroleum operations, which require that the companies use local services and products manufactured locally, and then also they should make investments in research and carry out programs aimed at technology transfer to Ghanaians. It will go to Parliament, and then within 21 days, if there's no amendment, after 21 days, if there's no amendment, it will become automatic law.
The Ghana Airport Company has stated it will not pay claims being made on it by the Ghana Meteorological Service because it owes nothing. It follows claims by the Meteo Service that it owes some $2 million for navigation and geological services over the years. The airport company, however, tells Joy Business it has never asked for any such services, much less enter into an agreement with the Meteo Service. Board member of the company, lawyer David Annan, explains their mandate is limited to estate management at the airport. The Minister for Transport, Jifar Tivo, earlier this week also asked Ghana Meteo to justify any such claims.
The issue is being handled at a higher level, but if GMA thinks airport company owes them, they should provide evidence and we'll take it from there. But I think it's unfortunate for an agency head to make such a frightening pronouncement that our only international airport faces a shutdown. I mean, it sends bad signal to the traveling public.
And British carrier Virgin Atlantic has indicated it might resume operations to Accra if conditions that cause its exit improve. The airline yesterday announced that it is suspending its operations to Accra from September 23, citing exceptionally high fuel costs in Ghana, challenging wider economic environment and its inability to operate morning arrivals from Accra due to scarcity of slots at Heathrow. Transport Minister Jifar Tivo says although her outfit has engaged managers of the international carrier to rescind their decision, no progress has been made in that regard. She however says their claims of high taxes at the Kotoka International Airport cannot be justified. Up next, we bring you some smart investment tips.
Sports is brought to you in association with.
Right, so I'm sure you would know by now that the Black Stars won the match against Sudan, that crucial World Cup qualifier, and George Addo Jr. is here with all the details. So, how did it happen?
Asamoah scored the goal for Ghana. You know, they say the kung fu dung fu. I mean, hate him or love him. He managed to score a goal, the first goal. Then we had a red card. Richard Kisi Boateng had a red card, the inexperienced defender. He's just warming up into the Black Stars. He had a red card. And via that, there was a penalty for the Sudanese who equalized. Asamoah came back in the 60th minute, got the second goal. And then Sule Muntari released one of his thunderbolters, and that was a third goal for us. So good news for Sule Muntari, scoring his 19th goal for the Black Stars after 77 caps. An excellent result for Ghana in this one.
Okay, it has been described as a crucial World Cup qualifier. What makes it so crucial?
I mean, crucial in the sense that Ghana needs to top this group to move into the next stage of the competition. As it stands now, we are top of the group. We need to pay close attention and beat Lesotho and try to qualify. Once we top this group, we're definitely going. It was crucial because if we drop any point, we're not too sure what will happen between Zambia and Lesotho, tomorrow. And we have just made sure that we are safe. Once we have our 3 points, whatever happens there, we're not too concerned. Zambia can win the game and come on top. But if they lose any point, we're definitely on course to top this group. I tell you, it's the last round that's going to be much more interesting.
If they win, what happens if Zambia wins?
If Zambia wins, then by tomorrow by this time, Zambia will be top of the group. But then the difference between ourselves and Zambia will just be a point. That means that going into the next game against Lesotho, we can win it, and then we meet Zambia face to face in Accra. Excellent stuff.
And we have to beat them.
And we have to beat them. For now, it's Operation Win Every Game, and it was good that we started very, very well. It's something that Black Stars need to do. They have to win every single game, and then we get into the next stage of the qualifiers.
Okay. Now another game that's coming up this weekend that has to do with the Game of Hope.
That's right, Game of Hope, Michael Essien.
I'm wondering, do you think he'll be relishing a game like playing in the Black Stars?
Obviously, he said that Michael Essien says that. Okay, well, he's going to tell us whether he's going to return to the Black Stars or not after the game. And as you know it, I'll be at the stadium. My very first question, to Michael Essien is, so what is the final thing you are telling, Ghanaians?
Okay, so whether he's going to return to the Black Stars or not, are we going to give him a chance in the Black Stars?
I think we should give him a chance.
Okay, take it up.
We can do some more. Let's talk about the SWAG Awards ceremonies, and definitely the SWAG Writers Association Ghana would hold its 38th award ceremony on June 29, with the highlight of the awards being the Footballer of the Year and Sports Personality of the Year award.
The 38th edition of the SWAG Awards Night has been launched at the Media Center of the Accra Sports Stadium, with the executives of the organization pledging to hold an event befitting the ever-improving status of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana. The annual event is held to honor sport athletes who have distinguished themselves in their field of sport in the year under review. Corporate Services Director of Telecommunications giant MTN, headline sponsors of the event, expressed his delight at the exceptional organization of the event over the years and revealed that her company is to sponsor the event for another 3 years following the expiration of the previous agreement. President of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, Mr. Aka Anthony, is looking forward to the event with pride and excitement.
This year, we're trying to bring somebody of international fame down. I'm not going to talk about him now because we're still talking, and I believe it's going to work. Things are going to work. And then again, we are happy that for the first time, the membership of SWAG, is swelling to a level that I even didn't expect about a year ago. Members from the electronic media are now in the majority if you're talking about membership. And for once, we have members from Belgium, US, Ghanaians based outside, who are all working in the media outside, applying to be members of SWAG.
The event is slated for Saturday, June 29th, 2013, with the highlight of the awards ceremony being the Footballer of the Year and Sports Personality of the Year awards.
Michael Essien's Game of Hope. It all is set for that game, scheduled for the Crossport Stadium tomorrow. Essien and his entourage of soccer stars arrive at the Kotaka International Airport this evening and have checked into the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Now, Joy Sports cameras met the team on arrival and caught up with German football legend Michael Ballack.
I've been twice to South Africa.
and once to Senegal, but it's 15 years ago, or more, even more, for holidays, and yeah, it's the 4th time now. Went well, you know, it's always a little bit emotional if you finish with football. I finished 1 year ago, and now it was a good finish for me to invite a lot of people who were playing with me and next to me, and it was a great evening.
All right, so it's going to be very interesting. Tomorrow, everything is live on Joy Sports on Multi TV. That'll be all for sports tonight. My name is George Adejuna. Do have a great weekend. Israel will join us with Showbiz.
Sports was brought to you in
Now, veterans in Ghana's movie industry are complaining of being relegated to the background by filmmakers. According to them, roles which ideally should come to them by virtue of their age are given to young actors who are made up to look older. But the producers and directors say they invest in movies they know will bring them good returns.
You don't know how to watch.
Movies produced in Ghana in recent times have almost the same trend. They are either comic, violent or romantic comedies, and in a few instances where elderly actors are cast, they end up making a cameo appearance. But the veteran actors are not happy with the recent development.
The new producers or the writers who write the stories rather want to pick a younger person and make the person up to play a role that Auntie Grace would have played to perfection.
Let's compare ourselves to the Nigerian actresses industry. You know, they respect their own.
You see, when you come to us, we do it well for you. So they should come to us. We are still alive.
Film is considered an important art form, a source of popular entertainment, and a powerful medium for educating citizens. So, what do producers and directors consider when casting their movies?
The kind of dealings that you have with the younger folks is not the same thing you have with the elderly ones. You need to take your time because these are older folks already. You don't want to stretch them, whereas a younger actor could do 12 hours of shoot, 10 hours of shoot. You cannot extend the same thing to somebody who is in his 50s or his 60s.
They argue casting veteran actors is a risk they are not ready for, so they would rather invest in movies that will bring them good returns.
As a producer, I will want to make a movie to put on the market. As much as I enjoy making films, I also enjoy seeing my pocket fat.
I invest my money where I can get my money back.
That's why the productions, most of the productions that are coming out or that are being churned out in Ghana are very low quality.
So having gone off the screen for so long and with no roles for them in the latest flick, we asked these veterans what they have been up to.
I do produce as well, so if you don't see me in front of me, then maybe I'll be behind.
I'm a stage actress. Once in a while I do screen, but if you ask me, I'll go for stage any day.
It appears these former gems of our silver screens will have to continue doing whatever they can to survive until they can call up for roles.
Elsewhere, Nollywood's A-list actress Omotola Ekinde Jolade, popularly known as Omo Sexy, has debunked rumors that she has undergone beauty-enhancing surgery to look prettier and younger.
Mother of four, Omotola Jolade Ekinde has disclosed in a recent interview with a Nigerian news medium that she has never undergone any beauty enhancement surgery, adding her radiant look is inherited. As the world is engulfed with celebrities constantly undergoing beauty enhancement surgeries, including Botox to look younger and prettier, the sexy Nollywood actress has demystified rumors that she has undergone some surgeries to enhance her looks, and at age 35, the actress is getting prettier and younger by the day. Affectionately referred to as Omo Sexy, she says she has just been extremely careful and conscious of her body, job and everything, adding that she took after her mother. The award-winning actress burst on the Nollywood scene in 1995, and to date she has appeared in over 300 movies. She was recently honored on the 2013 Time 100 Most Influential People in the World list alongside world-renowned personalities Michelle Obama, Beyonce and Kate Middleton.
That's it for Showbiz. Now, before we go, we do a quick link up with PM Express with Nana and Sokwao. Good evening to you, Nana. What's coming up in PM Express tonight?
Well, Israel, it's Friday, and Fridays are getting more exciting because I get the free license to get up close and personal with wonderful personalities. And if you remember the radio promo, there was something like, I'm not supposed to blow my own horn, but if Larry King is going to do it for me, then why not? I wish Larry King will blow my horn for me one day. Look, I'm talking to a Chevening scholar. If you want to know who he is, stay tuned.
Right, certainly we'll make a date for that. So make a date for PM Expert Personality Profile. Before we go, a quick run through our top stories. President Mahama has announced a 25,000 Ghana cedis reward for arsonists suspected to be behind a string of market fires, in addition to stepping up security at public installations. Cabinet has forwarded the Right to Information Bill to Parliament and asked the House to give it urgent attention. SEPS has impounded 75 luxury vehicles, it says, were smuggled into the country to avoid payment of import duties. Work on Accra's key storm drains are to begin in 2 weeks. And then Anti-Witchcraft Coalition is demanding the reintegration of a 40-year-old woman banished from Nyankpala on suspicion of being a witch. That's it. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Sojo Live. Have a good evening and a great weekend.